Hi, this video today is about interest, especially simple interest, but let's find out what interest is. As you see, it says the money paid or earned for the use of money. This is like if you take money to the bank will pay you interest because they use your money to loan it to somebody else, and they get money from that and then pay you a small amount for it. Also, if you get a loan, well, there's going to be an interest attached to that, which you're going to pay back for having borrowed that money, for using that money. All right, so let's talk about simple interest. We're going to have a nice formula. I is equal to PRT. Let's find out what those letters stand for. Okay, I should make this very clear. I should have said that rate needs to be in decimal form. Remember, if it's in percent, that means we're going to have to move the decimal point 2 times. So make sure this is in decimal form. And you want to remember Dr. Pepper. All right, Dr. Pepper. So if we have a number that's in a percent form, like 5%, we have to change that, move the decimal point 2 times, from percent to decimal. 1, 2. So 5 has a decimal here. We're going to move it 1, 2. So the decimal for this number, for 5%, is that, okay? It's 5/100ths. So 5/100ths, which makes sense because if I have 5%, remember it's 5 out of 100, right? 5 out of 100 is the same thing as 5/100ths. All right, here's a problem. We have a situation where we have money in the bank and we're going to earn some simple interest. Let's say that we have $1,000 in our savings account and it pays us 3% simple interest to have our money there because remember, they're using our money to make money. All right, so 3%, and it's going to be a 2 years stay. The money's going to stay in the bank. We're not going to remove it, change it somehow. Okay, remember, change your percent to decimal form. So remember, we're going to move the decimal point. This is going to become 3% becomes 1, 2. It becomes 3/100ths. So this and this are the same thing. All right? We've got to do that before we begin so we can just put in our numbers. All right, let's start. I is equal to P, the principal. The principal is $1,000 times the rate. Remember, 3% is the same thing as 3/100ths over here. We're leaving it there for 2 years without touching it. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and multiply. 1,000 times 3/100ths ends up becoming, and try it on your calculator, it's going to become 30. 30 times 2 is 60. Our interest is going to be $60. So if you put $1,000 in a savings account, it's got 3% interest. At the end of 2 years, you're going to have $60 more than when you started. Okay? Okay. Here's an example of how we're going to use simple interest. But in this problem, we have a loan. And it's a loan for a used car. And the loan was for $5,000 for 3 years. So we remember that's $5,000 for 3 years. The interest rate paid, this is the amount that was paid for the loan, was $300. What is the interest rate? So let's put down our formula and see how these things fit in. We've got 3 numbers we're going to use from our word problem here. Okay, so we're going to have I is equal to principal times the rate times the time. Well, we know what the interest was because it's right here. Interest paid was $300. What was the principal? Well, we started with $5,000 here. And do we know the rate? No. This is the question. What was the rate? Okay, so we don't know what that is. I'm just going to put times R times how long? For 3 years. All right, so let's do some math. All right, we've got the 300 here. 5,000 times 3. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. Add your zeros. 1, 2, 3 times the rate. Okay, this is our variable. So we're going to divide by the number next to our variable, remember. So let's divide by 1,000 by 15,000. Remember this, having the same number in the numerator and the denominator gives us a 1. So we have a 1 in this location, 1 times r. Okay, that's going to be r. 3,000 divided by 15,000. Well, let's remove the zeros before you do your math. And when we do this, we're going to find out that our answer is 0.02. Okay, percent. Remember, we're going to use Dr. Pepper. I'm going to move this slightly. And let's see how we change this. We're going to put down Dr. Pepper. Okay, the number we have is 0.02. This says move the decimal 2%. We're going to go 1, 2. That's 1, 2. Our percent was 2%. 2% interest. Interest rate. Okay? All right, let's talk about this in class.